What's up, everybody?
Hey, Chip.
Hey Chip, how are you?
Good, ma'am. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Good. Are you ready to get after it? I think y'all are the only two that I have to do this with
All right.
left. So, if you guys are ready, we can rock and roll here.
Go right ahead.
All right. Sweet. All right. So I'll save the intro part of this because y'all have already got it in an email. So hopefully it'll save you time. So, is there any questions that I can answer first off for you guys off the bat? To read the email or anything like that, so I can make sure I address what you need and I don't just talk about what I feel like is important. I want to make sure I get what you need. Or you just want me to go into
Is
it?
this only for our customers, or is it like legacy Gardner Denver ones, like that I've been fighting with?
So this is anything that we've sold in your territory from 2020 to 2025 is what it's going to be sending to you right now. If you have gardeners that are in your territory that you want us to add, we can totally do that as well. If there's some that you want added in there, we can add those as well. I don't have a problem doing that. The goal is this is our install base. So you might not have a ton from 2020 to 2025 because we weren't down there. So
Yeah, I really didn't want the list imported that came from Gulf State because, as you can see, I'm on site with it. It's been a nightmare.
yeah.
I mean, the contacts aren't good, and much less getting through to some of these people
Yeah.
in rough. So I'm okay with what we have, and if I convert someone, then converting them over, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, so this is just our install base. Cool.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Cool. All right, I'll roll with it. Jamie's hanging in the background. He was on this morning. He's just aware. He's just jumping in to help support again. So I just wanted you to know that. That's why he's probably listening in the background with his camera off or whatever. He's not ignoring you or trying to be a
No,
troublemaker.
I'm right here, guys. I'm right here.
He's just trying to be a troublemaker, stir the pot. So, short version of this is hopefully we'll go fast here. Get this done for you. So, MaintainX is a solution that we use on the service side of the business and our rental side of the business. It's really a great program for us. So, just a little sneak peek in here, how we look at machines and stuff like that. Like, this is the one at Richland. You got a nice pretty picture in here. Work orders that we've had completed. It's a great stinking little program. It's got a really slick program. So we've made one for sold assets. So in the sold assets that we've sold since 2020, 25 right now is in here. There is 280 something assets that we've uploaded. 282. Okay. And the what we plan to do is that we plan to create work orders associated with those assets. And basically those work orders are going to poke you at every 6 months because that's what the warranty compliance is, to have a conversation with your customer and just kind of check in with them. There's some information that Hannah is going to do for us on the front end with these. And then you'll fill out based upon what she's given you. It'll give you a guide to have a conversation with the customer. You'll fill in that conversation with what the customer says, like what the customer says, and then you should be able to, submit it in here and then document your conversation with the customer on like where they're at. 6 months is important because that is where the warranty needs to be to keep them in compliance. So just because they sign up doesn't mean they're in compliance. As Sam well aware from her experiences today. So this is what it's going to look like, okay? It'll look like probably more so like this. It'll come to you via email. And you'll go into this and you should see some of these things filled out. For the internal person, that'll be Hannah that'll be gathering these questions, okay? And we'll go over those. And then this is the feedback that I'll need you to get. And then there'll be like a closeout compliance summary. Are they in compliance? Are they not compliance? Okay. So let me go into those, and you will get one of these for each individual machine, and it'll be like per month. So we're going to start in June. So you'll get June and December's assets that have been sold. You'll get that feedback, these questions answered. Then you'll need to go out to your customer and get them updated. I don't necessarily I just need the information. My goal is like if you want to have a conversation with the customer or you want to email back and forth with the customer, I don't really care. I just think it's a good process for us to document every 6 months. Hey, you're in compliance. We're checking on you. You're doing what you need to do. Or at 6 months, hey, you're not in compliance. This is what you need to do, so on and so forth. So I'll get into it. Any questions so far before I get into this work order?
Is this broken down like just rotaries, not recips, not dryers, any of that? It's just compressors, right?
Just rotary screw compressors that follow that oil flooded conversation. If we have some oil freeze in here, we can probably do the same thing. There's still things that they need to be serviced every 6 months, but so yeah. So
This
we
is
will
every single asset that got sold in our territory, even if they've moved on and are getting another company to service them.
Yes.
Okay.
The reason why is, as you well know, people change. And Gardner Denver is in the business of recapturing lost business. So if it's still that case, where they've transitioned to somebody else to be the service provider, you'll see in this document, we're trying to poke you to have a conversation to get them back in the fold and explain the benefits of them getting back in the fold. So who is the contact information? Hannah's going to enter this information earlier, before you get it. Who's the phone number, email, right? Later on, you're going to see why that's relevant. Is the customer on a service agreement? If they're on a service agreement, yes. You don't need to fill out any more of this internally. We've got what you need. The goal is to get them on a service agreement. If you get them on a service agreement, we're gonna get their warranty. We're gonna make sure that they're in compliance. We're gonna make sure that their paperwork is handled. They're in good shape. If they're on a service agreement, that's the goal. And I want you to think, all I got to do is get them to sign up for a service agreement, and the support team and everybody else will take care of it, take care of the customer on the back end to make sure that they're in compliance. If we're not doing what we need to do and they're on a service agreement, we'll take ownership of that. Questions there? Cool. All right. If it's no, then you're going to need that information. So there's a couple of different types of warranty for these machines. The standard warranty is 1 year. The 10-year warranty is from 2025 backwards, where the customer was able to service their machines and do all the things, oil samples, etc. Platinum Guard is the newer plan, where after basically that, we can sign old ones up for Guard. We can sign 2025 and on to the Guard plan. The customers cannot service them themselves. And then we've got Trust, which is obviously the package care. It's like the best one, and they pay a bunch of money, and it's like a bumper to bumper coverage. All right, cool. Do our records show that the customer has purchased an OEM oil filter? The same question is going to apply to a couple of different parts. Oil filter, inlet filter, control box filter. There should be separator. And then there's one more that's going to be on here that says oil. And then it says, do your records show that an oil sample was submitted in the GD lab? So have they taken the oil samples? And our consumable service logged in the CC360, basically have they been uploaded into the portal? of Gardner Denver's portal to check in for compliance. Is Icon active? I think we'll talk more about Icon, but that's the remote monitoring device that's on the machine that we use to track hours. You guys get emails from Craig saying, "Hey, this got a fault on this machine. You should check in on the customer, make sure they're okay." And then internal, based on all the above, do you believe this customer is in warranty compliance or not? So you should have all that information presented to you when you get this documented. So obviously it's important. We're doing this at 6 months intervals to avoid the painful situation that Sam's in right now. The customer thinks they're signed up for an agreement. They're missing some information. It would be nice to know that on a 6 months intervals, we feel like it's the salesperson's job to make sure to tell the customer, hey, you're in compliance or you need to fix what you're doing, so on and so forth. And here's this part of your conversations. Before I move forward, do you guys have any questions on internal feedback gathered?
Yeah,
And you said the internal Hannah, right?
Hannah is the
us.
one that's going to fill this portion out for you.
okay.
Because I've seen some stuff in CC360 where it'll have like previous service, but it's not always accurate. Like I know that it's been serviced since then, but it's not in there.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. If it's this is the way to fix it, okay? But we're gonna tell you something simple. So you don't have to go into CC360. She's going into our system, she's going into CC360. And she's the one that's, getting these machines on service agreements. That are on service agreements onto the right warranty platforms and making sure that they're in compliance. She's the one that does all of our oil sampling. She understands the importance and basically make sure the machines that you sell are in warranty compliance, documented properly, and she does the warranty claims for me. So she's pretty much running this whole behind the scenes thing for all these machines that you sell. That's what she's doing for you guys.
Well, there'll be a part on here that says time to renew, like if they're currently on one. The reminder of ping. Because if we're doing it every 6 months, it should remind us like, hey, they're due.
Yeah. One of the things that we've been working on is you guys see the rental list that comes out every week. We're going to do a list of customers that are on service agreements and when their end dates are. And that's going to come out weekly to you as well. So you're prepared for when those end dates are so you can proactively quote and re-up the customer.
Okay.
And if they are off an agreement, she's going to tell you here too, as well. So you're going to get doubled up there. All right. So getting into any other questions before I move on?
No, but I did want to mention one thing, Chip.
Go for it.
So Sam made the comment there about some of the times CC360 is not accurate. But I just wanted to say, I wanted to assure her that's common. It really is. It's something Chip has to work on all the time. Sometimes, for whatever reason, service records don't upload the way they should when we scan parts and things. But as long as we have a record of it on our end, which we always do, we can get that changed on CC360. So as long as the services are getting done, don't panic over what CC360 shows. We can always get that changed.
Correct. So the way that it works in the warranty plan is we have a warranty claim. They'll say, we think they're in compliance or not in compliance. They say, do you have any other paperwork you need to submit? That allows us to go back into our records, dig into it, and do it. That's a painful process for us internally, especially on some of these machines, like these older machines that are 10 years old, that the customer can do service or we can do service with, and they're on 1,000-hour intervals. So we've done the math before. That's over 80 oil samples. That's over 80 oil filters that have not supposed to be missed every 45 days for 10 years. You can imagine how difficult it is to go back and to track all this. So it's a benefit for us internally too, to have all of this stuff documented. It makes it an easy conversation, not a painful one. All right, so now your part. Well, how do you help us? So you're going to reference all the information that's above at the top of this form. Please let us know if any of the following is not accurate. Contact name, phone number, email, or if everything's accurate. If it's not accurate, one of the things that I got to fix and you can thank Jamie for catching me on this one. He did a great job. Is that it should populate here. If the contact is wrong, it should give you an opportunity to put the new contact in. As you guys know, contacts change, so on and so forth. Okay. Fill this out based on the information provided on who does the service. Does Pico do the service? Do they call us out to do PM service? Do they service themselves? Do they use a competitor, or do they not service it in that 6 months? Okay. The competitor serviced this. All right. You show the customer, our records show you use self, competitor, did not service for service. Is this accurate? And if you say yes, why not us? Okay. Post 2025 units require Pico authorized, we're the authorized provider to maintain the warranty. All right. So based upon what you select, it's going to help poke you to have this conversation along with the customer and to give us feedback on why. We need to know, I've heard things like we're too high, or our technician's too far away, or, those different things, or, I want to be billed at a certain rate or on a quarterly basis versus, whatever it is, we can get creative. We need to know what those pain points are for us to get them in here. So on and so forth. All right, cool. The next question is going to poke you, say, is, would you be interested in a service agreement with us to handle all your compressor maintenance? All right. No, why not? Right. Fill that information out. Based on the information from our inner team, who does our records show you used OEM, used aftermarket, used other, did not change parts. If not OEM parts, Pico, who did you purchase from and why? Non-OEM parts void warranty coverage. Pretty self-explanatory. All right, our consumables and service logged via QR code scanning GD Connect CC360. If it was a no, can you provide that information so we can upload your documentation, a la what Sam talked about? So in CC360, when we have a warranty claim, we can go back to them and have all the information in there, so I don't have to have this painful process of going and asking for a bunch of stuff from 3 years ago that nobody can remember. If we do this at 6 months intervals on these people who are signed up for that 10-year warranty, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier than it is if it's not. If we didn't do it, if we did it when they had a warranty claim. All right, based upon, is Icon active? If it's a no, it's going to say, I want you to explain the benefits of Icon, alarms, service, faults, hour tracking, Pico remotely monitors. We will install Icon free, no charge. It gets us attached to the customer, helps us see what's going on with their machines, helps us to stay closer to the customer. In summary, does the customer want to get back into compliance or not? If no, please let us know who and how you documented to tell them that they're not in compliance. It's important for us to document where they're at so that we don't have to have a hard conversation. But we also know that, like, say some dude gets fired, you can say, I've been talking to this guy every 6 months, letting him know he's in coverage or not. When the boss man comes in and says, well, how did this happen? Like, I mean, this is a tough conversation for me, Mr. Customer, but I've told, Gerald that this is what's going on and he's out of compliance. And he says, we're good. We're using our own thing. But it's not on us. Not on us at that point. All right. So that is the form that you will be asked to fill out. Is there any questions? We got through internal. I talked about salesperson and documentation here. Any questions there?
Where it says, or how did you talk? Should we follow that up with an email? Do we need to track it any other way? So we spoke with so and so on this day and have it on when we go through this maintain X form. Is that an email as well?
I'm a big fan of having a conversation and then documenting it. Like, hey, we had this conversation. Here's what we discussed. Here's where we're at. I feel like it's a less,
I liked you as well, but I just wasn't sure.
yeah, it's a little less like aggressive, and it's like more of an FYI. If you just kind of come through with the door with an email, or get them to sign something, it kind of makes them feel like this is a legal document. It's not a legal document. It's just like a heads up. So that's my opinion of how to do it. I don't really care as long as I get the piece of paper back, because I'm going to tell you or the customer, here's where you had this conversation, or here's where we sent you this, and you advocate for your customer. So your expectation is to stay with that customer and to, keep up with them. So it doesn't matter to me. If you ask my opinion, it would be call and document with email.
Yeah, like I like to do a recap of our meeting and do it like that, so it seems informal, but still not. I just want to make sure it was enough. I have another question. It might sound crazy, but do you anticipate where there'll ever be like a one on here that maybe is an overlap, or maybe they are signed up to renew their PM agreement, or their PM agreement is they just signed up, but we haven't quite processed it or did the first service on it? Do you anticipate that happening at all, where they are currently signed up, but it's not going to show in there as of yet? Because I don't know how long it takes to process.
Say that one more time.
Yeah.
Explain to me again what you're saying.
Okay, so, um, like for instance, I'll just throw IP Bogaloo out there. They signed up for their PM renewal in January, but it took us a little bit of time. We were waiting on parts and stuff, and we just now got them scheduled for their first service, but they were signed up. I wouldn't want to call them and say, hey, you need to sign up from January to May when they've already done it. Like, would that be captured in this? So I wouldn't be calling them when they already are signed up. It just, we haven't done that first service yet.
So they will show in, if you created a purchase order for them, if they've created a purchase order, they will show up in our service agreements as active in the system. So that shouldn't be an issue with them.
Even if it's just like a 2 week time period or something, like we just got the PO in, but she hasn't had time to kind of process it, like a week or two. I don't know.
It shouldn't be a problem. And international papers are
Okay.
a little bit different. So all you need to worry about with, I wouldn't worry about that scenario. We can explain why we did what we did. We can say, I asked that same question when I was at Gardner Denver this week. I said, look, y'all are going to hold me to some standard of getting these machines serviced when I sign them up on a warranty program. The reality is that sometimes I can't get it done in time because you can't deliver what you say you're supposed to be able to deliver. So how does that going to happen with me? Are you going to get mad at me when I can't do what I need to do because I'm waiting on you? And we said, no, as long as you have documentation, so on and so forth, purchase orders, customers on board, we can't deliver parts. We'll take that into consideration when we have a warranty situation. They're not asking for 100% compliance in order for them to be handled. They're pretty lenient to some degree, but they expect darn near 100%. And I found that if you get them on a service agreement, we're going to sign them up for guard. And if they're on, for the most part, most all of them will get signed up for guard internally. They will be there. The warranty team is approving. If they're on a guard agreement, it automatically gets easier to approve on their end. They're approving those really fast. Really fast. So they're not going to poke around.
Like I have O'Neill Steel just renew like this week. So if this rolls out in June and we have a holiday in there, I just didn't want to call him and say, hey, you're not in compliance, when I know that we technically just got the PO like this past week.
Yes.
So, and I know that he's renewed. So that was kind
That's
of like the logic there, like that time frame.
Yep.
I think the other thing with that, Sam, is you're going to know if you get purchase orders from these people for PM agreements, and this is going to be on a monthly basis. So we're talking probably a 2 week time span between, say that you get a purchase order and 2 weeks later, you get your list and it hasn't populated on that list yet. When you read down through your list, you're going to know, hey, they just signed up for a service agreement, so we can skip this one.
Okay. I think it's a good checklist too, like for us to say, hey, this one is kind of due, or, I mean, it's another way to reach out. I mean, I've been trying to push monitoring, but some of them are like, yeah, our monitoring's when we go out there and see the daggone thing running off because it's flipped a switch and they ain't getting air. I'm like, that's not the way to do it. You got to be proactive. But
That's
so
right.
this is just another way to help.
Yep. Okay. So Clark, on Bad Boy Mower, I hope this kind of explains to you what we're trying to do. It's a very similar process of what we're doing for them right now. Um, this is the similar process in a different way of saying a lot of these are on that P10 program, and we've set them up on on a special service agreement where we're going to send somebody out there to go check the hours and do what they need to do, so that we make sure that they're getting their stuff done according to that 6 months. So we'll be able to tell them in 6 months, you know, they will automatically get checked on that service agreement box because I have them set up as a service agreement. So you won't
Yeah.
really have to be poking too much on them. But when they're sending that stuff up to me, I'm uploading them in our service agreement process, on our service agreement page in MaintainX, to make sure that they're meeting the standard. And at the end of that 6-month process, I'll come back to you and say, okay, I know they're changing an air filter here and an oil filter here and a separator here, but did they get that all in 6 months? And if they did, then we're great. If they didn't, then I'm going to have you go back to him and say, I'm fine with you doing your plan, but here's where you change an air filter. Here's where you change an oil filter. Here's where you didn't change a separator. And that would throw you out of warranty compliance. So you got to make sure that you change those separators, because sometimes the controller hours or whatever, it's based upon the time frame and not necessarily always the controller. But I was going to wait till the end of 6 months of us reviewing his history, letting him do it his way, to try to come back to him and then explain it, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause he
It makes, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, it makes
He-
sense. I'm happy to see maybe some of the places that Marty got compressors sold, and some of those contacts to get in there and talk about them. I've run in occasionally, hadn't happened very often, but there's like, a couple up in Northwest Arkansas that have Gardner Denvers. I don't know how old they are, and not really been able to have much of a conversation with them. But if I could, go back in there and have a better conversation about warranty, that'd be great. Another
Perfect.
thing on machines that are not in compliance, I remember having this conversation at that Gardner Denver conference in Dallas. The idea is that we can get these machines back in compliance with a service agreement. Is
That's
that
right.
correct?
That's right. That's the whole goal of this. Gardner is they're actively trying to get these back on agreements, and if they're interested in doing it, they will be very aggressive in getting them signed back up for warranty, and they'll wipe away their past sins, and they'll be living the justified life.
How far back does that go, Chip?
Right now, it's 20. I want to say 2018 is somewhere around there.
Okay. Okay.
So I would try to stay away from anywhere but past 2018.
Okay.
Any questions? Any other questions? Good questions.
I'm good.
So you will get, for June, you'll get June and December. So those 2 months will go together, and then for July, it'll be July and January. Those will be the machines that you got. When I was looking at the math earlier, our richest territory in machines that looked like about 16 machines. So it's 16 people to contact in a month. This is not, you know, I hope it's 100 people a month. That would make me feel great. That should make you feel great, right? But reality is it's 16 is probably the max you should see. All right. I'm at 1:45. I'm at my time. Is there anything else that you need questions, or Jamie, you think that we should share that we talked about earlier, we didn't?
No, I think we essentially covered the same things, and questions were, you know, you did your job the right way, Chip, because the questions were the same for the first and the second meeting. So,
Okay.
so good job.
Thank
No, I think we
you.
covered everything.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, guys.
Thanks, Chip.
All right, I get out here and help Josh and them.
Mark,
I
did you
get
see my
dirty some more.
text?
Not yet.
Okay, I got you a text.
right.
Sam, I'll text you back. I got an update for you as well.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Everybody.
All right,
Bye.
thanks. Bye.